So here we have a 2016 Pajero Sport. So these are the QE models. So 2016 to 2019, your head unit will look like this. What you're looking for is this here will be below your hazards and stuff will be below your aircon one. So we'll just cover what you get in the kit here when you first get it. Probably looks like quite a bit, but isn't too bad. We'll go through the main needs adapter harness cable first. So this will plug into your car side. This will plug into the back of the head unit. This is for the factory 360 camera or reverse cam, and this here is for the cam module, so it allows it to talk to the car. So that's your ease adapter outlet harness. Auxiliary harness. This is for if you want to run an aftermarket amplifier. Most people will not be using that, so you can just not even put it in. You can leave it out. Your camera inputs, so your rear cam cable, the purple one, is going to plug into here. These two from your main harness here. That's going to give you your 360 cams coming up. Auxiliary in. This can allow you to run some extra inputs if you want. You can use this handy sometimes for caravan camera if we don't like sound from it or different things. Caravan rear view camera. I've got one USB. Purple plug goes in the back of the head unit. So this can be used for one of our 4G modems or dash cam or something else. Our two USB and microphone plug. One of these will go with the adapter cable, so to retain one of your factory USB ports. The other one you can use for whatever you like. We'll actually include two adapter things in the kit, so you can actually keep them both. A microphone, if you want to run an external microphone, it comes with one in the kit, but we normally suggest just test the call while the unit's still out and see what it sounds like. External mic, Wi-Fi antenna. You can just leave this floating loose at the back, it's still tied up. GPS. So this is the GPS that comes on the unit. Just you can mount it forward under the dash. Trim removal tools. Get the dash off, and in the OBD2 scan tool, so you can get data from the engine ECU, and then the actual main unit itself, which you can see here. So you got your main 20-pin plug on this side, auxiliary plugs, antenna, Wi-Fi antenna, and GPS. So that's what's in the kit. You got your two silver bits here on each side, which come off first. So that's just a matter of getting your tool in the side here. So I'll use a small one to help us get in. And then the next one. As you can see, easiest technique there was just to use two and work your way down. They can be a bit tight, these ones. And do the same on the other side here. This one here, you can see, I reckon I've taken this off before to put a switch in down the bottom here for the spotlights, and they've actually broken the old clip on this, but it's alright, we can fix it up when we put it back for them. Now those two are off, you will see here we have our main plastic complete unit. Just giving that a pull from the two bottom corners. Anything plastic like this, it's just best just to like wiggle and pull is the answer. You got two switches here on the bottom that need to come out. They've both got little push down pins on top that you just need to pull out. That one and that one, don't get them confused when you're putting everything back together. Those two. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips screws to come out. Alright, Phillips screws coming out. Alright, once the screws are out, that whole head unit can pull out, and then you've got obviously all your plugs in the back here. On the top of them they will normally have a push down pin on most of them to pull them out, so just go through and push these down and pull them out as you do it. Sometimes the trim tool's happy just to tuck in there to push down as you pull them out. Right, that's all the wires undone. Back of current head unit. So these two were obviously for our bottom panel, aircon and the parking sensor switch. These are all the plugs that came out of the head unit. So just keep an eye on what came out. So like remember them all of them pretty much have lugs on the top. You have to push down, so you push it down and pull it out. That's where the trim tool comes in quite handy, because you can sort of push down on them and then help pull them out. Some of them can be stiff. Right, so the first thing we suggest to do is we're just going to hook up the ease adapter kit and then hook the head unit in what is like still out. So we'll grab this first. These should match up to car side plugs. So off we go. They can only plug into what they plug into, so should be fairly straightforward. You can see we're going to be left with a couple left over, and I'll explain those in a second. If you have a free 60 cam, which I think most of these do, I'll leave this plugged in. If you don't, unplug it. This is a free 60 cam model, so we're going to leave it plugged in. So you can see 1, 2, 3 like factory plugs are not being used. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7. So we'll cover some of these a bit later on, but for now that's what we're going to do for test. Grab this cable here and the purple cam in, put that on here, and grab the back of the head unit. Grab the head unit, and we just want to plug in the 20-pin cable. So that's plugged in, and then this one goes into the other side over here, into one of the auxiliary ports, bottom right on the back here. That and that, and then the last one we will put in is the antenna, FM antenna, just so we can test our sound. Now you just want to either hold it or just semi-rest it back in the frame there, and we're just going to turn the car on, and I'll make sure we have some stuff happening. So I've just put the car on, so we have accessory lights coming on here. You can see that the unit has actually powered up. Always a good start. Now we're just checking for a couple things. We want to ensure we have sound, a reverse cam and steering wheel controls on this model. So first up, on the radio, do a scan.
But I will say that there's
So I can hear sound coming through. That's me using the steering wheel controls right now. So that's coming up and down. And that's going next. Alright, cool. So we know we have that working. So we've got sound and radio. Next thing, put the car into reverse. Cool. We've got our 60 cams happening in our trajectory lines. That's all good. Back into here. So that's pretty good. So now we've just done that quick test, we will carry on now. The only other thing you can do is, if you want, you can go through the pairing process now of pairing your phone and making a call and seeing if you're happy with the internal mic, or you can do that before you actually put the whole unit back in. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put all our wires, our other wires in. If we've done our testing, everything works. This is the factory GPS cable. We try to get the factory GPS working, but it's not as good as the one we're including in our kit. Obviously maybe the car's a bit older, 2015 or 16, whatever this is. So we'll end up tying that back, but our GPS works just fine and it's fairly easy to put in. Peel off the stick pad off the back here, the red bit, and basically you just want to get it as far forward as you can, like this, underneath the front. So we go underneath the soundproofing here, and because you don't want there to be any steel above it, that's pretty easy on this one. We'll just go as far forward as we can here, stick it on, give it a good push down, push the top. That's all done. This soundproof mat just has back stick on it. Stick that back up. That's the GPS put in there. Next we've got our two USBs and a mic port here. So these are your factory USB plugs. You might have two or one. This is the adapter cable. So it can only plug in again the way it can plug in. Plug it in. Plug this into one. We're just using the Android Auto CarPlay one. That'll give you wide Android Auto and CarPlay if you want. Most people use the wireless version. Then we will include two adapters in the kit. So you could plug the other one in too. In this case, we're just going to run one down and pop it out down at the bottom here, just by the kick panel, because the USBs in this sit in the middle console underneath the lift-up lid, so they're not actually that handy place to have them. So one USB is all you need really. The other ones are handy for like a dash cam or for a 4G module or like something else. Wi-Fi antenna, we can just screw this on and leave this tied up and it can float around loose in the back. That's fine. It's only if you extend the Wi-Fi range, which we don't need to here, just in case for future. This is the third USB. Again, like this one, we'll just plug into the back of the unit and leave floating around, handy for dash cam or something in the future. External mic. Now what I'm going to do here is I want to power everything up and just have rest in there before I do it and make a phone call on it, or the car running. If it sounds okay, don't use external mic. If you think you want the mic closer to you, you can plug it in and make a call with the external mic plugged in and just see how it sounds. So that's up to you. I'm guessing on this model we won't need it. Brown auxiliary plug. I'm just going to leave this plugged into the back of the head unit. We've got auxiliary wires here anyway, so I'm not sure where the auxiliary port is on this one, but these auxiliary wires can plug into here and here, and this will keep the factory auxiliary function. So that's like your earphone jack. That might be down by the USBs. So here's the factory unit, and here's our unit here, the video unit. So there's a few things that have to come out. You got your air vents will come out, 1, 2, 3 screws off Phillip head screws, and they also have tabs on them. There's a tab there, and I believe there is a tab down there. So I'll pop out both those on both sides, put them into our unit. Your main aircon, climate control panel here will screw out, and your a bottom switch your sensors on it and your hazards will screw out, and then your clips. So aircon, climate control, hazard panel, and these clips will pop off. So these are the aircon clips to start with. Phillips screws. Three Phillips head screws on them. Then they have a couple little tabs, so one there, and that pops out just like that. So put that on the right side it's on. Next we can move on to your climate control. This one's fairly easy. Again, a couple of screws on both sides. Just the screws are different sizes, so just keep note of the screw and where you took it out of where. Like the screws for this climate control are like thicker than the aircon screws. So the 4 screws are out there. This will lift out. That's your aircon climate control. And then you got your 2 screws here. Put your button down the bottom. Again, put these screws in your own spot because that can be different sizes. They are different sizes again, so remember where they came from. 2 little clips, 1, 2. And a few, and there's also a couple on the top here. So again, there's 2 clips in the bottom here and 2 up top. If you just push the plastic trim tool in and slowly stretch them out and give the unit a push from the front, that'll pop out. So hazard in your parking sensors. Alright, and last but not least, you have all these white clips around here. You can just use a flathead screwdriver. Again, these little clips, they come off fairly easy. You can just pop a flathead screwdriver into each side of them and leverage them up. And they pop off like that, and then they're going to slide onto like the new one. Alright, so I'm taking that everything off the old one now. So everything will just fit back in the new one because the fascia is like the factory. So again, push in the aircon so it clips in. Yep, we can have a look at the front to see if it's all fitting in. Put in the right size screws. So that's it, the aircon vent back in. Now you can see it's all looking flush in the front there. And then you have on here your white clips to go all the way around. Climate control, and of course parking sensors and hazard. Just line them all up with the locating pin and slide them down. So just give like both the hazard and the climate control a good push in. I'll make sure they look good from the front, same as the aircons, and then screw them in the back, just these 2. So again, remembering hopefully the screws you put in, go around and put the screws back in. Alright, so that's everything back in. Aircons, climate control, hazard and parking sensor, white clips around the outside. Obviously have a look at the front of the unit, make sure it's all looking flush. Alright, cool. There is one extra wire I've just put in here, and I've just tucked it above the glove box for now. This is the DAB antenna, so this customer is running like a DAB. So that's what you do if you are running a DAB as well. So the DAB box looks like this, plugs into the back of the head unit. There's a bit of 3M tape as well, so we'll stick this down somewhere. Obviously the antenna screws into it like that, and it plugs in the back of the head unit. So we're just going to go through basically now and just hook everything back up, power it up again, make sure she's all good, and then go from there. DAB antenna, so these plugs here, they can only fit into the correct one they go into, so you can't normally put them into the wrong one. So that's obviously the DAB one. Just check, you could put a smaller one to a bigger one, so always be careful about that. Got our Wi-Fi, that one's just going to screw onto our Wi-Fi side here. Going to leave that one floating around the back, so we'll tidy that up at the end. Our camera cable, that goes into our bottom one here. Our extra 4-pin USB goes up into here. Hope you can still see this, it's getting a bit dark here. And our USB one plugs up into the USB one here, which is down here. Oh, sorry. Next to the camera one. Alright, so that's all our plugs in the back here on our auxiliary side, and our GPS, sorry, our Wi-Fi antenna. Our GPS was the one we stuck up the top here. So again, screw it in. I'll go back through and I'll tidy all these up at the end, but GPS screws into like the GPS side here. So now all we've got left is the main like 20 pin and the FM antenna. So main 20 pin on here, FM antenna in here, and the rest we have used. Apart from when we do the 20 pin one, the auxiliary one will be coming in as well. So brown auxiliary up here, top right. Now what you can do is, so just grab the piece of foam that the head unit came with. Comes in handy just to sit the head unit on at times. So just make sure all our cables are up the back here. And you can just put the head unit on here. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through here and basically tidy up all the cables. So I'll put a bit of tape around these so they don't come undone. I normally like to tape around these like RCAs, tape around this RCA. This is a big long GPS wire. I'll coil up this. The DAB module has a 3M stick pad on it, so I'll probably stick that up out of the way somewhere like a tidy. You can stick it in like zip tied if you like. And then all the antennas we're not like using, like the factory DAB one, factory GPS. There's also a little grey plug here you don't use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just tape all these back so that they are the way, and then I'll tape like the main harness up. So we sort of want the harness to come in and drop back in here, so you don't want it too tight, but just tight enough is good. This is also the HDMI input cable that you had in the glove box. Don't even know why they had this, but this is no longer used. Yeah, and that's everything. So we'll go through now, tidy everything up. So that's everything all sort of tidied up there now. We'll put it back in. You can see I've tucked that second USB just out down the bottom there. Just instead of using it when they're like a glove box, at least you have one down there if you want to use it for something else. I have popped the glove box off from this model just to run the DAB antenna up on the windscreen, but that's basically all. So it doesn't have to be too tightly thing, just tight enough so it's all tidy and we can put it back in. So now we'll go ahead and put the unit back in. So make sure, obviously the two plugs we haven't done, there's a few things to plug back in. Make sure you don't forget you got the main 20 pin plug plug that in. You got your FM antenna. Don't forget to plug that in. Actually, that one might go in last. And then you've got your climate control and your hazard. So they all need to actually come up when it's a bit closer. So that's all right. Put the bottom parking and hazard one back in. Put the climate control back in. And then we'll pull the FM antenna up and run it underneath a few here. So this is sort of why you don't need to do your wires up super tight when you're tightening everything up, because you want to leave yourself enough just to be able to tuck them all back in behind. Then they can actually drop down behind the main little bar that is in the middle here. Slowly push it in. And once it's in, we're going to go push around the unit to mount it in. So you'll hear those clips that we put in clip into place as it goes in. So go around, give it a very good push all the way around, and make sure it's all securely in there. Now, before you go too much further again, just obviously do all your checks again. You want like radio, steering wheel controls, and your reverse camera. So again, do all those checks, and then you can go around and put your 2 side trims on, and she's all looking good. So you check the power's on, all good. Now you just go around and put your side trim pieces back on. So everything just goes on the way it came off. Make sure everything lines up. Just go through and just give them a good push on. So here we have wireless CarPlay connected. You could use Android Auto for that. So all it is connecting Bluetooth, then going through and allowing it on your phone. We have videos on our YouTube. But basically all I want to do is I just want to call someone and just check the quality of the call. Not answering anyway, but what you want to do there is you just want to check that the quality of the call is okay, and if it's fine, don't worry about external microphone, or you can plug in the external mic and have it closer to you. Normally in cars like this size as a Pajero, it's fine, that's going to work fine. Your microphone wouldn't get that much closer to you if you put it in the sun visor or above the steering wheel, so it should be fine with just the internal mic. So that's the install all done and dusted. Good job.